Good morning, collective. Good morning. I hope all of you are doing well this beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Patience. I'm your favorite spirit medium, host of Spirit News on all major platforms. We are so grateful to have you for all of our day ones and for everyone new. All are welcome, none are rejected. We're so excited to be here to use our spiritual gifts for good and to develop them with our very own spirit team in real time and put all of our knowledge and spirit nuggets down for you in our TikTok and on our Instagram. If you want to be part of our community, we would absolutely love to have you. You can find all of our socials through the description bar, through the link tree that is provided for you. We're so happy to have you. We love you so much, and we hope that you're doing well during these solar flares, black moon, and the Schumann resonance spikes. I know for myself as a high sensitive, I'm definitely affected by the energy when the shifts come, and some of the things that I experience are mood mood swings, irritability, tired, fatigue, uh, forgetfulness. Um, I don't know what to eat. I'm like, it's like almost like, well, I'm just gonna eat nothing because my body's like, I don't want anything. So, not wanting to eat, feeling nauseous here and there. I'll have just random bouts of nausea. Um, I've been having to clear my field more. You've become more sensitive and more sticky. So you'll definitely be picking up other people's energy, picking up um, people's things that you're around work and your daily life. So you'll be needing to clear your field a little more often. If you do it, once a few days, maybe try doing it once a day. I do it once a day, so um I have to do it twice a day sometimes. Spirit just said definitely. So um why you need to do this is because where we're at in the solar system, okay, where we're going into a golden age, and it's showing, it's making the veil more thin, it's making the energy rise, it's making us rise in our magnetic frequency. And so it will require us to do more non-physical hygiene, as spirit likes to call it, to alleviate what the non-physical energy is, how it's affecting us. And so you have to remember that you're a non-physical entity having a human experience. And if you do not accept that, then you will not be doing the things required as a non-physical being in a physical body to maintain a clear field. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's about your energy. And so if you are in this time, especially during the black moon, it was meant to show you, some of your shadows, to mirror back to you some of those emotional hangups you still have. So a lot of people may have been exhibiting, you know, confusion, mood swings, more than usual, and it should be alleviating as we go further into the week. But if you are experiencing a little bit of turmoil, or even within yourself, a little like confusion, like I don't know what to do, I have so many things to do, overwhelm, it was because of the energy. So you just got to go outside, put your feet in the grass, ask the trees to take it for you. I went outside yesterday after being inside. The inside was starting to make me feel a little like, ugh. And I went outside and I felt frequencies. I went outside, I felt immediately better. So, staying grounded at this time, as above, so below, is going to help you. Grounding yourself through mother, grounding yourself through father, through the head. So, these are things that are going to be more. These, oh, Spirit said some things you can do. Some things you can do is write a journal, write your feelings in a journal. They said painting, do something to create something. So that was just a little FYI to begin the reading, because I know these energies are very um they're
Corks.
very corks. Yeah, they're very stuck. You know, they can get you to feel kind of stuck. Spirit said corks, but we're gonna pop those corks. We're gonna pop them. I got you, boo. Okay, I got you. Everything's gonna be fine. You just keep on moving, keep listening to your intuition, and keep listening to your guidance. You're gonna be fine. So I have a heavy one today. I have a heavy reading today, and I've never intentionally read an infant. And from what I know about, from what Spirit tells me, is that, time doesn't exist, it's a construct. So once you cross over, baby Emmanuel is not a baby. Baby Emmanuel's back to their soul being, which is infinite and ancient. So we can definitely tap into baby Emmanuel's energy to get the baby's perspective from their higher self perspective of what happened. Because if you don't know, baby Emmanuel this month was a 7-month old baby, and the parents claimed on August 14th that the mother claimed Rebecca Harrow reported that he had been abducted from a parking lot and that she was allegedly attacked. She claimed a man knocked her unconscious while she was changing her baby's diaper, and when she woke up, Emmanuel was gone. They were just arrested recently for inconsistencies that were found in the story, and the father has a past of child cruelty. His records show that he pleaded guilty to willful cruelty to a child in 2018. So it's not looking good for the parents, but what really brought me on, hi Gustavo, thanks for being here. What really brought me to the story and to want to get a higher perspective of it is when I watched their press release. If you want to know what it looks like to see two people lying, I suggest you go watch it, because if it isn't obvious to you guys, it's obvious to me. It's so obvious. You can feel it. There's no tears. There's over
She will not.
explanation. She will not. There's
Visual.
visual. Yeah, you can clearly see that there's something off. And that is one thing that we're learning how to trust, what to trust when it comes to our intuition and integrating our feminine energy and having the knowing, and obviously we can't prove it in a court of law, but there's going to be something, some kind of evidence that we're missing that could potentially lead to who done it. And I think the parents did it. So we're gonna tap in with Spirit, and we're going to see what we got. We're gonna tap in with baby Emmanuel.
It remains a
It
mystery.
remains a mystery. Well, we're gonna see.
Subdivision.
Subdivision. We're gonna see, okay? Because I don't think it's right. I think that you do, if they are involved or whoever's involved, justice needs to be served and the truth needs to come out. If you don't want to tell the truth, then we have ways of getting around that. Okay, I can't tap into the parents' energy because they didn't give me permission, and we're not breaking cosmic laws over here, but we can tap into baby Emmanuel. So, baby Emmanuel, please, please be with me. Come to the show. Come to the big show. Thank you very much. I told you it was a big show. Oh, what? Your baby got kidnapped? No, no. The baby was not kidnapped. Okay, it's weird because that's, oh, I got a song. I got a song that kind of goes with this. It was, I woke up with it in my head. It was like, it's all about confidence, baby. And it says, um, she was a confident lady, and I know she's driving me crazy. And after all this, I know she'd probably hate me. And I should have said this and I should have said that. And all I know now, it's all about confidence. And I know she's driving me crazy. I know she'd probably hate me. I think she knows, and I think she knows. She's making me nervous. She's making me nervous. I think she knows. I think she knows. She's out of my league. She was a confident lady, and I know she's driving me crazy. So, a line that really sticks out to me is I should have said this and I should have said that.
Leader.
Leader. I think she knows, and I think she knows. She's making me nervous. She's making me nervous. So, Spirit just said leader. So, it might have been the mother that took the lead on this by having confidence in her story. I was going to say before I read that, um, what? How many aborted fetuses do you eat for Sunday brunch in order to keep that smooth complexion? Mikey, no aborted fetuses are being eaten here. Just shea butter, baby. Hi, Dana. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I realize it's a compliment. It started a little iffy and then it finished into a compliment. So thank you very much. Make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button if you like to get higher perspectives with spirit for true crime and mysteries, celebrities. We are absolutely thrilled to be here doing spiritual development with you. We love you so much. So I was gonna say, because of the song, it kind of gives me the vibe of, when you have somebody in your life who you know is lying, but at all costs they will not tell the truth. And they'll like gaslight you or like spark an argument with you just to prove that they're not lying, but you have proof that they are. It kind of feels like that. It also kind of feels like somebody who, like the press release, these are two people that are overly confident, okay? If you do not, if I do not answer you, it is why I do not understand English, but I like to look as you speak the same. Use an English translator. Oh, thank you, Gustavo. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you finding a way to listen. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Bless you tenfold. So, it reminds me of once somebody who has like mental health issues or is unable to have self awareness is convinced that they can convince other people of their lie. It's like an overconfidence. And so, somebody like these two parents who may have, some kind of mental health blockages aren't able to see themselves, but they're convinced that they can convince everyone else. It kind of feels like that. Sometimes I like to stuff baloney down my pants and then I run around the house screaming red rum. Well, hey, Mikey, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not hurting yourself, you do what you gotta do. So, these parents may have been very unique in their interests. They may have shared some kind of similar interest that's very unique. But they were convinced that they could convince the world of their baby being kidnapped. They're like, come to the show. We got this. Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Well, no, it's a mentally ill person who's convinced that they can convince anybody of their lies, is what it is. Okay, I gotta have confidence. And there's something about the woman being a leader of this. Hmm. And as I said that, there's a waiter and someone who's ordering food. So that's kind of speaking about the dynamic. Someone gives the orders, someone takes the orders. Someone gives the order, someone takes the orders. There's also a little flower that looks like a speaker. So definitely um, some pancakes, please. Good choice coming right up. Yeah, they're both enable each other. I think the woman is the leader of this is the blackbird. She's the one who gives the orders, and he's the one who happily takes them. She's the boss. She wears the pants. She's like, no, listen to me. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna say this, and then he's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say. He's just following her lead. But I don't think that omits him from guilt. I think they're both guilty for sure. So, baby Emmanuel, continue telling us about these parents of yours, please. What is your perspective of these parents of yours? Oh, sea life. Sea life. Very fishy. They've been caught. They're gonna get caught. Look at this. I have a fish hook right here. Yeah, these parents are definitely in some deep doo doo. They've been venturing around trying to breathe underwater, but they're going to get caught because there's too many fish in the sea. There's too many inconsistencies. There's something that, oh, my eyeball. Sorry, my contact disconnected. There's something there. There's something they're disconnected about.
Quilter.
Mm. They were trying to weave a story together that was fishy. It didn't make sense. There are missing components. It's like sharks swimming with dolphins. It was like it wasn't adding up. They were trying to make it seem like something it wasn't. But really, they were the predators. They were the ones who tried to make something look like something else. And the hook is in the S. The hook is in the S.
Leftover.
Leftover.
1980s.
Leftover. I don't know if there's a body of water by them. Let me see. The Ukaipa parking lot in Ukaipa. Where is Ukaipa? Where is Ukaipa? It's in California. It's in California. How close is it to a body of water? Where's the nearest body of water?
Handgun.
Spirit said handgun and wounds. So it's in San Bernardino Valley, next to San Bernardino Forest. And the nearest body of water is, let me see, Yucaipa Community Park. There's something about a body of water. There's also the Santa Ana River. Those are possible dump spots. The Seven Oaks Dam is coming up. Those could potentially be places where the baby was placed. It also says leftovers, so, and they're eating right here. So I'm not sure if they're saying the baby became fish food, the baby's in some kind of body of water. If they did put it in the Santa Ana River, it could be, it could have moved, because rivers move. And this river goes throughout San Bernardino Valley. So that's something that's coming up. So if any investigators are watching this, that could potentially help. Especially spiritual investigators. You go send that info on over. What else would you like us to know, baby Emmanuel? There's something about them being on possible drugs, possible some kind of hallucinogens, or they're just very immature. It could be a little bit of both. They could be very immature for their age, for having a child. There's something, they do a lot of immature things. It's like children having children kind of thing. And this could be their mentality. They, they might not be fit to, or ready
Diana.
to be able to raise kids,
Predispositions.
predispositions. Yeah, they may have, like I said, they may have their own mental blockages or special needs type of, situation where they are not operating at full capacity. There's something about that. There's something about um, hmm, I see a black cat here. For me, when I am shown black cats by spirit, it usually has to do with some kind of um, energy manipulation, but I don't know. Huh.
Field.
Field. Spirit just said field, and look, there.
Yes,
This.
it is.
Yes, it is. Something about a field. So this baby may be, if they're looking for the body, may be um in a body of water by a field that has um it has a stoplight where the yellow light could potentially be blinking on and off. It also has a brick wall that has an apple tree near it or some kind of fruit tree near it. Um, there's also a fire station nearby and an ice cream shop and potentially a farm that has chickens. If there is a place like this in that area, um, that's where you'll find the baby. There's also something about mushrooms. They could have been on substances when whatever happened. I don't know if spirit will divulge what happened because sometimes it's not relevant to the healing to know those physical details. They might play more on the emotional details, but we'll see. If it's relevant, it'll come up. Hey, Scovy. Morning, Scovy. Hope all is well. Sending you love. Thank you so much for the like. Thank you. Hope you're doing good. So they were on some kind of substance when they were playing with the baby, possibly in a park. In a park that has, a body of water and a field with, it feels like a park because I see a traffic light and some businesses nearby. So they were definitely on some kind of substances, possibly mushrooms, in the park with the baby. They're playing with the baby, but the baby may have accidentally got lost or they weren't paying attention. The baby could have, I don't know, let me see, could have fell or could have fell through a hole or they're playing too rough with the baby, something like that. Come back with the ball. Oh, Scovy, of course I send you prayers. I hope all is well. I send you prayers for whatever you're going through. Just know whatever you're going through doesn't last long. And even though it might be hard in the moment, you have to think of how you want it to be and not how it is. Otherwise, you'll continue getting more of what it is instead of what how you want it to change. I know it's hard to do in the moment, but it's possible to do, and it's something that will help shift whatever you're going through. So I hope that it does. You can't think of how it is, you have to think of how you want it to be. So I have this fence again. So I have this brick wall here, and there's someone climbing up it, and then look at this. These two people are climbing up this fence. Mm, okay. There may have also been a third person. So what Spirit's telling me is that when it comes to this baby Emmanuel, there's definitely some kind of emotional blockage about even wanting the baby. Possibly on a sunny day outside in the park, these parents with one other person was on some kind
Other
of
side.
other side, was on some kind of mushroom or something, or
Kill.
kill, and the mushroom may have brought up some unresolved emotional issues that have to do with resentment towards the baby. Um, and you know what's funny? Look at this. Is one of them has the catcher's mitt with the red hat, and then look at this bird with the menu and the red. So definitely the leader of this couple is the woman, but the person who listens to that leader and does the action is the man. So she told him to do something with the baby because they were both angry at the baby. The baby was being a baby, doing baby things, and they were on substances in an altered state, possibly with one other person who didn't see what happened or who they haven't involved into what happened. Because I see hands right here over the fence. You can see somebody there. Um, but they were in their shadow. They were in their shadow because they had unresolved resentment, having a baby that they didn't actually want. And so both of them, under these substances, could have had that amplified, that emotional resentment amplified, and it could have made them angry, more irritable. The baby definitely, they could have accidentally dropped the baby climbing over a fence or something, something like that. These parents are mentally unwell. They have special needs that prevent them from truly having self awareness.
Alarming.
Alarming, yes.
Bad.
These are two people that shouldn't have babies. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying, you know, they just aren't aware of what it takes to have a baby. They aren't capable, okay? They're stuck in their mental capacity. Um, so there's something about that. I told you, yeah, they're on some kind of substances. They're on some kind of substances. They were not seeing things the way they really were. They were in an altered state. They were not paying attention to the right things. They were in some kind of altered state at the park. How they were trying to party and have fun with a baby, a 7 month old baby that they resented having. They didn't want this baby. They still wanted to do what they wanted to do. They have underlying emotional issues that were triggered by the substances and the baby. So, mm,
Angelic.
angelic. Oh.
Light of eternity.
Tell us more, please. What else? What else do you want us to know? So what happened? The riddle. I told you three. There's three of them. I told you. Three.
Divination.
Divination.
Baby.
There were three of them. I told you there were three people when baby Emmanuel, when something happened to them. Lover in reverse. The seed in reverse. And the siren. Hmm. You know, like 2 years ago, we did a reading, a random collective read about a couple who was part of a group that was having like orgies or something, and they had a child during these sexual escapades that had special needs. And that child was a result of their promiscuity in this group. It's so weird because it kind of feels like the same story. And in the read, the baby passed away.
Lover.
Because I have siren and
In
love
his name.
I, in his name. The medallion. Let me get one more. Venom. Venom. And the stone. The circle and the square. Hmm. The circle and the square. Yeah. Your prayer, the circle and the square. So these two parents were, this mother is in siren energy. A siren is somebody who calls in um, to feed on people who have an energy, like the legend goes that the siren, the only people who could hear a siren are people who have done wrong. And so the siren calls to those who have done wrong, and those are the people that they'll feed on. Um, you know, kind of like a circle of life kind of thing. So this siren called upon a lover who had already had a history of violence towards children, and then they had a child together. But the way they had a child together was through some kind of partying, promiscuity. You know, they could have been under substances as well. And then having the child was the venom. Oh, and Spirit said quarters earlier, and it looks like there's a quarter in there, but I think it's really an earth, but it kind of looks like both. So they definitely were not in a place mentally, emotionally, physically, monetarily, residentially, like in every way, shape, or form. These two people were not in a place to give life to another being and then to support that being. So that was the venom for the seed. You know, imagine having a child and you just hate it the minute it's born because it represents all the things that you'll never get to do now because you have to give all your time to that baby. Okay, so there's something about that. That's the emotions that are coming around. They may have viewed this baby, there's a lot of emotional immaturity here. They may have viewed this baby as something that would help propel their relationship into the next level. This siren may have thought that it would change the lover by having this baby, but little does she know that this lover it doesn't even like children. Okay. So, so they threw the first stone. If someone, the stone, the stone, someone is feeling. So now, I don't know what that card. I'm getting a couple things from that card. Please clarify the stone. Please clarify the stone. Spirit said in his name, so like I said, she could have thought that this person could have. She may have trapped him with a baby or thought a baby would keep him around when she got pregnant by doing something promiscuous. Explain the weirdest dream you ever had. I told you they were on some kind of substances. This group does some kind of substances. And I want to say mushrooms. Because I see mushrooms in this picture over here down by the brick wall. So they're climbing higher heights. They're climbing higher heights trying to get a higher view on mushrooms, but they're blocked somehow. Um, Create a conspiracy theory. I can't make it up. I cannot make it up. They did something to this baby that has to do with this group. Write a note to your crush. Hmm. Tell authorities that your pet dinosaur went missing. I can't make it up, you guys. I would never make it up. Ever. There's something they did with the baby under substances.
Lure people.
Lure people.
Died.
Died. Hmm. Explain life on Earth to aliens. Something senseless. Something that should have never happened because these people were never fit to be parents. They definitely had a child out of. They definitely had this child out of convenience to try to keep a lover, and the pregnant. They may have not even known. She may have not even known she was pregnant till it was too late. She may have been doing substances and stuff while she was pregnant. She may not have even known that she was pregnant. By the time she knew she was pregnant, it was too late. She had to have the baby. So there's something about a lot of resentment and anger towards this baby that they never wanted. Write your best pickup line. But it was some weird thread that held them together. And then one day, after they have the baby, 7 months after they have the baby, they're still, you know, being immature, possibly taking mushrooms, going on mushroom bins with a group of people, possibly with the baby in hand, being irresponsible. What happened to the baby? What's this wildest dream? What happened to the baby? Explain to your friend what your favorite food is.
Eric. Eric can see the light.
I didn't want to say that, but the minute I got this picture, they may have possibly, and I can't prove this, I don't know if it's true, I'm just picking up what I'm getting. This could even be like a different story. I don't know, but they could have potentially tried to eat the baby. Not all of it though. Explain to your friend what your favorite food is. I don't think they do this a lot, but I think under these substances, they were not thinking right. There was something disconnected about the way they were seeing things, the way that they were operating, the way that they were. Peel. Spirit said peel.
love,
Describe the thoughts of a wild animal. Yeah, they were definitely in some kind of like beast mode energy. They're very angry. They're very angry at this baby. Hi, Steven. Hi, Morzan. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Make sure you're hitting that like button, that subscribe button. If you like to get higher perspectives of linear views of true crime and celebrities and news stories, thank you for being here. Man, oh, I feel nauseous. This energy makes me feel nauseous. Um, Spirit, what the hell is this? Explain to your friend what your favorite food is. What are you saying? What are you saying? There's something that they definitely just were not in the right mind about. They do drugs or something. Now, some kind of nightmare. Suffering, darkness, persecution. Yeah, there's something they were doing. I think this is the story from 2 years ago. Homeless. They tried to. Oh, stop it. I'm just gonna say what.
frightening,
Frightening. I'm just gonna say what I'm getting. I'm just gonna say what I'm getting. Hesitation. Ugh. Confinement. Promise in reverse. Fate. So, okay. So someone may have approached them, or or someone in this circle saw an opportunity with them and their baby, and they thought that this was some kind of luck or fortune, because this person approached them about this baby and how giving them the baby would lead to luck for them, would give them satisfaction, would give them comfortable days. They made a vow to give their baby up. But then they became hesitant. There's something about confusion or worry because they weren't sure whether they should do it or not. But they decided to do it. This says vow, worship, wish. Yeah, that's the thing about energy is like if you have a baby, if you have a baby and the minute you know you're pregnant, your thoughts are, I hate that I'm pregnant. I don't want this baby. I can't do this. I don't like babies and you don't want the baby. If those are your thoughts, is that if those are your wishes, that's literally there's no difference between that and a physical manifestation. Your thoughts, if they're strong enough and you're thinking them often enough, will present a situation where you won't have your baby, where your wish will come true. And that And there's no difference between that and a vow. Your thoughts are essentially creating a vow that you're taking to experience the an experience of not having your baby, if that's a specific thought you're thinking. So there's something about that. So like I said, something could have presented itself in this group where donating the baby, whether that be through sacrifice or giving it away or whatever, could have brought or manifested a situation that they were not prepared for, that happened when they were in a inebriated state or in some kind of al- alternate state. They to them, they thought that they would gain some kind of luck or fortune by doing this, but it became their nightmare, because what they thought was going to be give them satisfaction and help them be comfortable is actually leading to confinement. So there's some kind of promise that was broken about, saving them or keeping them out of trouble. Or it could actually be a vow they took to something they worship, to donate their child for gains, but something happened that switched their it could have been their hesitation to give the baby away. I'm not sure, because I have nightmare right here with the little shadows behind them, and I also had divination. So something about divination. Yeah, what is the origin of this? What's the timeout? What is the origin of this? What are you saying? Let me get some clarity before I say that. Let me get some clarity before I say that. So tell me, what is this nightmare? Hit your wagon to a star. hmm Have your head examined. Yeah, I told you there's some kind of mental disability here. You can't make out an omelet without breaking an egg. You can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. Have egg on your face. Eagle eye. Face the music. Better safe than sorry. Okay, I gotcha. So what happened was these two parents were doing something in a group, being promiscuous, whatever they were doing, they got pregnant. She didn't know she was pregnant. She continued doing, it could possibly be some kind of worship or some kind of group mentality of promiscuity. I'm not sure. And I don't think it's really important. I think what is really important in this situation is that they, to begin with, didn't have the mental
I can sense
capacity
the
to
signs.
understand the consequences, or to clearly see that their actions were not going to lead them to luck or fortune. So they accidentally got pregnant. They could have possibly been doing substances while being pregnant. That could be why the baby was born with a disability, because she didn't know she was pregnant for a while. By the time she found out she was pregnant, she already, is having troubles in this relationship. She's a siren and he's a lover in reverse. He's a very she's the one in control who gives the orders, but he's like a big dummy, he does whatever she says, and he has his own issues when it comes to children. Okay? They both have mental disabilities that prevent them from seeing themselves clearly. And they're definitely not people who should be having children. They definitely do substances, possibly mushrooms or some kind of psychedelics, that alters their perception a lot of the time. They were doing substances while watching the baby or having the baby around for sure. They thought that while they could have been in the park on this day where they were, having a day in the park on mushrooms with one other person, there are three of them, and they came up with the bright idea, some kind of bright idea of how they could hitch their wagon to a star and receive possibly like a GoFundMe or like alternate money um, and attention at the same time. But they need to have their head examined because, you know, the only problem with this idea is that you can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. So they had to break an egg, and now they have egg on their face because they're being watched, because they have to face the music because what they're saying doesn't make any sense. They had this cockamamie plan to, get rid of their baby and then say someone kidnapped them so they could also get money. So it's just like I said at the beginning, it's this false confidence.
say yes,
Yes, it's this false confidence
old
of
wealth,
believing that you can trick the world so you can gain something over a tragedy. There's something like that. Like a real belief that like they're so confident in their own performance that they believe that they can trick the world so they can gain some kind of wealth or luck or money from the public for this. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. But they were overconfident because they have mental disabilities. They're not able to fully see themselves, and so drum up business. Um,
tepidness,
oh, my scar is tingling. Mm. I have laughing all the way to the bank in reverse. How can I find out what happened to the baby? What did they do to the baby? What did they do to the baby? What did they do to the baby? The house of Pelops. Curse has been laid on the whole house of Atreus. But it seems that it did not equally affect Atreus' two sons, who are often jointly known as Atreidai. Atreidai. Both brothers married daughters of I can't say the names, became king, as we have seen one the beautiful Helen, who was really the daughter of Zeus, and succeeded as king of Sparta. Menelaus certainly had his troubles, which included the loss of Helen to Paris, Prince of Troy. Yet all ended well for him since he regained his wife and lived out his days with her in peace and prosperity. But for the Agamemnon, it was quite different, and it was in his branch of the family that Thea's curse led to recurring bloodshed and vengeance. So there's definitely a generational curse here of family bloodshed and vengeance
disruptions,
and disruptions. There's definitely
lurking in a
a
shadow,
generational curse here. And Spirit said lurking in the shadows, and look at this. What is this generational curse? What is this generational curse? Hmm. Hmm. What is this generational curse? We bent down to enter the largest house. Inside we found beds of grasses and furs around the walls, In the center, a fire was burning and a great cauldron hung above it. An old woman was preparing what looked like flatbread and bunches of herbs, hung drying from the roof beams. I counted these and saw that there were 19 of them. Newen saw me doing this and smiled. Remember our symbolic ceremony in which we light 19 candles? Now you know why. And I thought back to the ceremony that we had celebrated only a few days before. Uh, Something about rituals, something about there could be some kind of generational witchcraft or something. And when I say that, it doesn't have to be recent. It could be from past lives, it could be from an alternate timeline. And the thing is that when readers talk about witchcraft and magic, it doesn't have to be being done on this timeline. And there are different ways that witchcraft can manifest itself in this reality. So, if on another alternate timeline there's actual rituals being done, in this timeline it will manifest as, you know, putting your baby in the river, or there's different ways it can manifest physically, where a version of yourself is, or ancestors of your generation of generations before you were doing rituals that
elderly person,
elderly person, thank you, that included
electric,
manipulation, or stagnation, or holding people back, or being a lot, low energy type of patterns, which is the same as a ritual. Patterns and rituals are the same thing. Um, so I'm not saying that they were doing witchcraft, but they were definitely doing things that were done previously in generations
devices,
when it comes to children,
very distracting,
when it comes to being responsible. They're definitely carrying on some kind of generational curse, that has to do with greediness and being irresponsible, and something about child abuse. Okay, where are we at in time? Hmm. Please tell me more. You know what? Let's just ask. Was this couple doing witchcraft? Was this couple doing witchcraft? We'll ask the yes or no cards and just get it out of the way, okay? Was this couple doing witchcraft, like rituals and spells and stuff? Yes. Oh my gosh. Taking flight, uplifting with decisions. Was this couple part of some kind of group? Yes. You are right on time. You are right. Did this couple was this group taking substances? Yes. Yes. Was this couple led to do something to their baby for this group? Was this couple led to do something to their baby for this group? No, they were misdirection, recalibrate your course. Did this couple believe that they had to do something for the group? Maybe the group didn't tell them, but they thought that they. No, making a final effort, falling away, withering. Did they do something separate from this group that the group didn't know about? Yes. Did this couple branch off from the group and start trying to do their own magic without any help?
conjure,
Conjurer. Spirit just said conjure.
alone,
Alone. Yes. Yes. I saw the black cat earlier and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to say it. but this they could have been part of a group where they encountered someone who was very versed at doing witchcraft or whatever rituals or spells, and because they may be part of some kind of online group, some kind of social media page or some kind of social media group, um, or they may have created some kind of fake profile under a different name that has to do with whatever they were doing. Justice is here, because now they're going to have a lot of legal matters as facts come out about these two people. I would have, if I'd have the police look at their phones and look at love in reverse and look at social media pages they created, the types of things that they were involved in online. There's some kind of group they were involved with online that led them to believe that this was something that they should do. Um, Healing. Yeah. Spirit says we shouldn't focus so much on what they did. Because we don't need to know what they did to know that it was awful and that it needs to be healed. And so it wasn't done out of love, but justice is here. They were sneaky. They are sneaky people. There's people that they're trying to protect. A union in reverse, an unholy union. These two people came together. They may have thought that they were twin flames, and that they had to have, some kind of relationship, but they're not in touch with their emotions. Um, They're maybe stonewalling each other because they're separated now, and they're gonna have to start all over again because whatever they did to the baby was not, it wasn't pretty. They were influenced. Yeah, I told you they were influenced by this group. I don't think this group knew that they wanted to branch off and do their own thing or like dabble in it. It almost feels like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, or I'm gonna try this on my own, or I'm gonna see how I can do this, something like that. So whatever they did, this group didn't know, and that kind of reminds me of oh, where is it? It's way under here. It kind of reminds me of this picture where there's this third person who's hiding that but has their hands in it but is hiding, so they don't completely know what happened. They're in the shadows, some kind of backdrop. Um but Spirit says, we shouldn't focus so much on the
Greasy.
on the greasy acts of these people
Pivot.
because it's not going to be um, cathartic. It's not going to go towards healing. We should be more focused on closing that cycle out. Okay, so they did do it. They did something.
Drift.
It could have potentially,
Shut.
it could have potentially been something ritualistic or some kind of something with their worship. It was definitely under some kind of psychedelic substances, something that um, made them feel like they were getting some kind of guidance to do something. But it was really amplifying their anger and resentment towards having a child. They were definitely in an altered state at the time. It was not spirit. It was not spirit. Um, there's something about conflict between them and um, around the baby. They could have gotten into a fight. They could have accidentally dropped the baby. They also have that they could have potentially, put the baby in a river or part of the baby in the river at a park somewhere that has that's like an inner city park with a body of water. Um, Something like that. Oh, how can we heal it? Thank you. Baby Emmanuel, how can we heal it? What are your suggestions to go towards healing this and closing this out? Bringing justice to the situation? How can we heal it right now? Stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come. Spirit said certainly. Nothing more will come that can be handled each moment. Yeah, just like I said, Spirit wants to focus on the healing, healing right now. Going and look, I have right here sacrifice. Yeah. So the way it played out is it could have been on a different timeline. There was some kind of sacrifice made, and then the way it played out on in this timeline is that the sacrifice was the child to get attention and to get luck and to get fortune by making people feel bad for them that something happened to their baby, but really it was a planned event. Okay, so Spirit says focus on right now. Don't worry about so much how it happened or when it happened, but to focus on right now and healing it by sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. Gratitude. To heal it, let's just be in gratitude that light is being shed on these type of people to help us be aware of how people who operate in this energy look and how it feels, and to take this opportunity to help us understand energy. When you look at these two people and they're talking and they're telling you with their words, this horrible story, trying to get your sympathy and trying to pull one over on you, but you can literally feel the difference, the pull in what they're saying to what is actually true energetically. And so Spirit is saying to let this be a sacrifice to help us understand what it feels like, what the difference feels like. Because going forward in the future in the new energy, we're going to be relying on our intuition and on our on our intuitive, yeah, they can deceive, on our intuitive abilities to know when someone's being deceptive. And it should be obvious, and we should just have a knowing, and we shouldn't question whether we should believe them or not. It's going to be something that's palpable. And so these are the moments right now that are coming up that are helping us understand ourselves energetically, and when it comes to reading energy in these types of dynamics. And so eventually over time we're going to become so developed in our intuition that we can read each other's feelings all the time, and it's going to stop crime. We're literally going to be a society where there's no crime, because we'll be able to read energy like nothing. We're going to be telepathic. We're going to be able to know what someone's feeling at any time. There's not going to be any room for someone being deceptive, because we'll know immediately because of energy. So Spirit says, don't think of how it is. Think of how you want it to be. Be grateful that we have this opportunity to see with our, good morning, Robin, to see with our eyes what it looks like and what it feels like to be deceptive. Because those are tools that we can use going forward, that we can teach ourselves to use to find that within our own life when we encounter somebody who's deceptive. And so I think that's, it feels a little hard for people to view it that way, because obviously we lost a life, and it was a baby's life and an innocent baby. But these things are going to happen, and if they're going to happen, we should be utilizing them as a way to hone our spiritual abilities to be able to go forward and detect when this happens again, so we can immediately know when somebody is up to no good, or when we can prevent things from happening, because we can sense it and we can trust that intuitive hit that we're getting in the moment. And this is the last one I'll read to heal the energy. Wolf, Pathfinder, release your past and start a new journey. I can't make it up. You are a teacher, and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. Yeah, so baby Emmanuel wants you to know that he's fine. There's no need to dwell on his, on his journey home. He came as a catalyst to show, to help us to see publicly with our own eyes what deception looks like, and what it feels like energetically. And that was he fulfilled his life purpose in this incarnation. So to not think about, him as being lost, but think of him as, I fulfilled my mission, and this was part of what I chose. This is part of how I wanted to show up in this incarnation, to reveal the truths about the people who brought me into this world, so they can start their own healing process, so they can end generational curses. So that's what a baby Emmanuel wants us to know, is that don't pity him, don't cry for him. He's the wolf. He walked his path, even though it was a short 7 months. That was his goal, and he fulfilled his mission. And now we all see exactly what needs to be seen. Okay, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next weekend. And like every weekend, we're here every weekend, every Saturday, Sunday morning. And then we do a couple reads and a couple nuggets on TikTok. If you want to be a part of our family, we would love to have you. We love you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And we'll see you next week. Bye.